السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيف حالكم حبايب قلبي؟ رجعنا لكم بعد فترة انقطاع بسيطة. سافرت انبسطت شوي، عيدنا باليوم الوطني. الله يديم على نعمة الأمن والأمان ويحفظ لنا قادتنا الملك سلمان وسمو عهده محمد بن سلمان. الله يحفظهم لنا يا رب ويديم على نعمة الأمن والأمان. طيب نخش على الماب السادس من البطولة، وبعدها على طول بنزل مقطع اللي هو السولو اللي طولت في السلسلة هذه مرة، أبى أخلصها على طول عشان نخش على نرجع للسلسلة الكلاسات وألعاب الرعب وزي كذا. وإن شاء الله أنا عندي فكرة إنه ممكن إني أنا أبدأ بثوث، ممكن هنا أتوقع اليوتيوب برجع بث على اليوتيوب بإذن الله على وارزون وعلى ألعاب رعب قريبا إن شاء الله. يمكن بعد بكرة أبدأ بإذن واحد أحد، أشوف العيال، أشوف ترتيباتهم، إيش جوهم وإيش وضعهم برضو في البثوث. بعد كذا إن شاء الله نبدأ نبث. ما بطول عليكم، لا تنسونا من دعمكم بالاشتراك في القناة وأعطونا لايك عشان ينتشر المقطع أكثر، واكتبوا لنا في الكومنت ألعاب حابين تلعبوها. وصح بإذن الله المقطع مو الجاي اللي بعده راح أسوي كود. الكود هذا إن شاء الله بيكون هدية لكم كل الناس المشتركين عندي. المهم انك تكون مشترك عندي وتكتب لي في الكومنت انك اشتركت، وراح اسوي سحب على لعبة كول اوف ديوتي الجديد ان شاء الله قبل لا تنزل اللي هي 3. بعطيكم اياها هدية، ممكن يكون 2 أو 3 والله للحين باقي ما قررت. لكن اللي حاب يشترك في المسابقة ان شاء الله بعد الفيديو هذا او الفيديو اللي بعده راح يكون عنوان الفيديو هدية للمتابعين. بس اللي عليكم تشتركون في القناة وتكتبوا لي في الكومنت ان انتوا اشتركتوا، وبإذن الله راح تربحون معانا ان شاء الله على حسب حظك. بعدها ما بطول عليكم، خلونا نروح للفيديو. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بدينا يلا يا رب توفيق من عندك. جهزوا قهوتكم يا عيال. بسم الله.
Here we go. We get a good look at that initial zone encompassing a large majority of the water.
هو واضح خلاص بفل هم المركز الأول ترى، يعني بدون منازع هم اللي ماخذين البطولة. لو خسروا هنا بعد خلاص هم ماخذينها.
They could double down and throw another one like that, putting them north of 100 points. Think of the differential on the leaderboard, because for your right from 46 to 9, that's nothing short of impressive.
Yeah, you need a massive one, certainly. Currently situated, and I believe 4th place overall is TBE, who's just breached that 100-point margin. So there is a sizable drop-off after the 5th place, but everyone from then on out are all fighting for still a ton of cash. Again, $100,000 first, but still $80K for second, $65K for third, and so on and so forth. But if you want to make money today, you've got to make it inside the top 25. I'm looking at Aiden and Rated and Hate Adrian. They're currently in 11th place overall, just outside the top 10, and that money drastically starts increasing after the top 10.
Well, it's going to be Aizen, but they're not going up against DBZ this time. It's actually going to be Team Swag that will be contesting them over here at Airport. And Aizen and Heeds, they were trying to bait colors into their building. They threw that proximity mine down on the ground, but it looks like Aizen and Heeds will be getting the stronghold for themselves. And Swag and Co, they're kind of rotating out, but Heeds looking to catch Z colors off guard.
Now with Juki's kind of increasing his point total, we do now officially have 4 EU teams inside the top 10. Heeds and Gromalok, they've been playing a hyper-aggressive play style, but they're not one of those teams. They'd love to creep inside the top 10, love to continue to prove themselves. They've been contesting any team they can get their hands on. They're just not winning every single time. You need those early eliminations if you want to find yourself in the final couple circles. I got to give a shout out to Pat Zuka, Inxian, off-screen wiping DBZ. The crowd saw it and the crowd got loud. We'll check in with them in a little bit.
DBZ
Tap on the upper floor of the building ahead of Champy. Can Big Pavo close the distance? Definitely going to check behind because he knows that there's a member that was able to sneak off into the water. Sometimes if you're running amok, you have to get in the water.
البطولة ذي يعني اوكي حلوة زي كذا، بس مو جايبين التيم السعودي، ما يجيبون لنا لقطات مرة. لا شوف اكس حمود والشباب قاعدين يجلدون تيم هناك وبش عليهم تيم ثاني.
4, 5, 6 eliminations. We're kind of setting up for that next circle, setting up for the next zone. These are clutch, but they're not everything. You need more, especially if you're a team like this that's near the
نوك
bottom of the
بالسترايك ما
leaderboard.
يوقع
You've
واحدة.
got to go massive, and
والله
every
يعطيهم
single
العافية
kill could
شباب،
net you
والله
quite literally
أبطال،
hundreds,
والله
if not
أبطال.
thousands of dollars. Everything counts. Every single elimination counts. Jowo, Breadman, Limax, a strong start and a mediocre finish. We'll see if they can finish well in the final map. As Smixy getting the better of Levi on the other side. Smixy going big to potentially take down the Australian team as Zeppa and Teeny close the gap.
And this is what they need to do. We were talking to Smixy earlier on. Frankie pulled her aside. Hey, what's going on? It's just like we just need to win that first initial engagement. If they're already picking off a couple members, getting that KP, that's exactly what is benefiting them. But Zeppa and Teeny waiting to see, hey, will Levi come back? Did he guess the gulag win? No, so they will likely have to get enough cash to be able to buy them back. But then you jump on over to Observatory, the one team that has the best chance of catching Team Biffle. It's going to be on your screen.
والله هذول التيم مرة هازوكا وسكالفيس ومياب لعيبة.
This trio, do they go into this game and say, let's go absolutely crazy to try to take first place? They won't settle for second, of course, but do you kind of rest on your laurels a little bit and say, we want to stay alive, we want to maintain our position, because they do have a sizable gap from second to third. It's a 13-point margin, so if they just have a pretty solid game,
والله في تيمين اوريدي يطلعوا خلاص، لأن آخر ما في بعض الأيام خلاص يلعب أجريسيف.
Looking at the leaderboard, they're just going to play their game. They're going to do what they do best. As off screen, you're seeing Lennon, Juki's finding a couple of eliminations. They're keeping up that pace they set in map 5.
Skull being patient, playing some head peeks here, but you've got the 2022 EU World Series of Warzone champions on the high ground going up against NA. So that's a heavy hitting fight. We'll check back in with that later as we keep on board with your current leaders here on LAN in the global finals. It's Team Biffle.
لعيبة.
Again, no one really contesting their point total. Same thing that I just said for Team Hisoka is the exact same mentality for this team. All they're worried about is getting some points on the board. They're not worried about the leaderboard, though. They're going to play their game. I can only expect you're going to see them in the final circle. You're also going to see them with a ton of eliminations, but only time will tell. Head back to Observatory to take a look at a potential fight here. Again, Savvy Ultras is here every single time, but a team that has to play aggressive because they're outside the top 10. Aiden, Rated, Adrian pushing up from behind Savvy Ultras, forcing the encounter.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Team Juki's just got wiped. All of them sent to the gulag. So if we wanted them to go back to back, the odds are already stacked against them.
underground.
In the tunnels at Sage, and Sage goes down. Shifty not able to get by his teammate to grab a trade. Team Echo on your screen. Echo, Tomsterbaum, and Bubble. I mean, Echo and Tomsterbaum, they've been playing since the beginning of Verdansk, the competitive Warzone history. I was able to stop by, talk to them. They said, hey, we're running 2 Signal 50s. Echo's going to be running that AR SMG. But honestly, your weapon doesn't matter here because it's the last game of the day. Your job is to climb up that leaderboard. I firmly expect this last map to be the most aggressive we've witnessed.
ردات فعل على اللعيبة دول أغلبهم، يعني شوف اللقطة كم فيديو البافل على كم فيديو السيج. الناس اللي يلعبون ذولا هيزوكا وما ادري، كلهم ستريمرز ذولا، لهم مقاطع في اليوتيوب في تويتش، في بعضهم في الفيسبوك.
Not going to lose the gulag, maybe not going to lose LAN here. Could you imagine? I know we have Pulse Check in the building upstairs sitting with J God and Lucky and Rampage, and they're just cheering on Biffle. Their brother in arms, but Skullface here finds himself in the gulag, but a heavy hitting one against Jowo.
This is a big one.
ممكن جوال يسموه ملك التحركات يعني كذا. هو أول ما نطلع الحركة ذي حقت المشي وما أدري
Against Skullface, only break 1 plate. Skullface misses. Oh, the timing.
Joe wins out. That one Joe's
going to be heading back free and clear. But if I know anything about Mayapo and Skullface and Hisoka, is that they're quickly going to get Skullface back. And then that's exactly what just happened.
والله يا عيال في لاعب اسمه بويا مع فيز مو مشاركين، والله يلعبون لعب يلعبون هو نفسه ذا يلعب لعب مو طبيعي. طيب هذول تومي والموند ضد وحداوي والشباب ما يدرون عنهم.
Question is he going to be the GOAT on land? Probably not first place, but hey, we still have the solo YOLO after this. Anybody's game for $100,000. We'll get to that in a moment, though, because still a lot of cash to be had here. $500,000 up for grabs. This is the last map for it, and DBZ needs to go big. An okay map in the last one after their win. They're going to clean up Meeks here and keep moving on their merry way. Decent position.
يبغون يجيبون كلات دي بي زي عشان يدخلون في ال20 ياخذون جائزة. خليكم بيسووا لهم فلانك واحد من ورا واحد. تومي ذا لعيب وأولموند لعيب ترى.
A lot of teams have prioritized going to Site City, and that's not a bad move. That's not a bad shout. But the thing is, can we get their squads like FIFA Kill have already rotated?
لأن كل واحد الحالة فممكن إنه لا ما يقدرون عليهم.
Call of Duty Echo Twitch channel. You can see where the map is as Allman finds one. Great timing for Allman to pick one up.
أتوقع ترى الإعدادات سماعات لأن في البطولة يعني ما بين المابات زي كذا في ناس كثير يشتكوا من السماعات إنه مو قاعد يسمعون الخطوات ومو قاعد يسمعون كيف. لا 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 لا.
They're not taking any chances here, Tiff. 3v1 should be no problem at all.
Finding themselves inside the top 5, but they will not be happy with that. Tommy had a strong performance the last time he was in the Copper Box Arena, and performing here today would be exactly what they need. But they're just 4 points outside of the top 3.
اللي هو دزعمير هذول.
The squad currently sitting in third. They've got the high ground, and they're just above.
هذول ما أدري عرب هم ولا زي دارك فيديو. مكسيكي فريق هاسكرز لعيب.
To try to play the high ground position, and I like this spot. Huskers, Mutex, Jesus, they've got to know they have the high ground. Jesus, an incredible player, traveled all over the world to compete in Warzone, not only today but in the past. Won a LAN for 10K in Amsterdam. Has an opportunity to hopefully increase his standings on the leaderboard and win some cash. But let's head to the gulag here. Davis Amir, 3rd place currently, trying to take down 11th place Hate Adrian. This is a nice 1v1 for a massive moment.
محافظين على المركز الثالث بشكل مو طبيعي، بس احنا فريق ألموند اللي هم تومي وألموند برضو ما بينهم نقطة. قفل هو اتوقع خلاص هو اللي ماخذ البطولة 100%.
What they needed to do for Team 8, and I told you, I sat down, I talked with them early on. He's like, I don't know, I'm just here to shoot my gun, and hey, it's working.
The game of chicken in the gulag is always a fun one. Who's going to go with the flag first? Usually that person loses. Sometimes they both lose, Tiff. Got to get on the flag pretty quick, make sure the time doesn't run out. Let's check in with our 2nd place team. They seemingly are in a bit of trouble. Have lost one. Dongi and Von Bot up above don't seemingly are gonna they're not gonna approach Mayapo here. Instead they're gonna continue to maintain high ground position in that POI. That's where they land usually.
عم شوف الفريق البطل قاعدين يبثون وكانهم يلعبون تدريب عادي مو كأنها بطولة عالمية. تدريب بالنسبة لهم.
Continuing to find eliminations and continuing to win those gunfights.
Just hanging out on the outskirts of Hydroelectric was essentially their drop spot. They land in Hydro, they stay in Hydro, they reap in Hydro, and this is actually what is allowing them to farm so many eliminations. And because the zone keeps Hydro in zone, more teams are going to be rotating out of the northern side from Rohan Oil, and they're essentially just gatekeeping everything. And the next team is going to be too strong making their way through that, but not before CPA tries to get a rotation with the Hummer. They do lose out on CPA, and we're flying off the mountainside of Observatory. Moriko just keeps going, hanging outside of the passenger seat, maybe trying to scout some of them.
Our Asia regional team, they played hyper aggressive in the regional qualifiers and dominated the competition, probably by driving Hummers and pushing every single gunfight and landing Observatory. The problem is when you do this, you are giving away your position to everyone. They're just trying to find some sort of space that they can hang on to and restabilize. I don't think anyone in this lobby is going to allow them to do that. I'm looking at our map though. Of course, Hydro's still inside the next zone. It's looking like it might pull towards Cave, which is good for Von Bot.
غريبة ما جابوا سكال فيس للحين. معاهم فلوس طيب السالفة.
And it's just going to be so tough because they've constantly been in that regained blender, not able to be up to full form. But it's Almond already on 7, has undertaken Dusamir and pushed themselves into the top 3.
جايبلكم هذول والله يلعبون ألموند وتومي.
That's exactly what you're seeing. I think that's a total of 15 eliminations already from TBE.
ما شاء الله عندهم 15 كل.
They've got an opportunity to do something crazy right now. Can they catch Team Biffle?
قاعدين يجمعون لأن شوف ما في فرق بينهم بين التيم اللي فوقهم. أتوقع بيعدونه خلاص. سواق.
And they need to continue to farm kills, and they're doing exactly that. Swag doing everything in his power. It's just not enough.
الله معليش نوب لعيب.
Do-si-do and hit the flare in the meantime. Will it have connected? Regardless, another elimination goes the way of TBE and Tommy. Now we know they always make that Bermuda Triangle style of play with Almond down in the gulag. Tommy on the rooftop looking down at Laga and Diego, able to throw down some shots, not necessarily connecting. Maybe a little bit of a lethal, maybe will connect. But regardless, you want to wait on Almond and see if he's able to get out of the gulag, but not before Noobs falls.
Yeah, Tim, I usually make a basketball reference here about their triangle formation. I was going to try to lean into football, but I'm not going to disappoint the London crowd. I'm going to let it stand. Tommy looking for a couple of eliminations still. Lage holding his own, but should go down here shortly.
طلع الحين صار المركز الثاني فريق تومي.
In the gulag here, a ton of eliminations. You want to play this hyper-aggressive playstyle. You got Smixy on the other side. Almost going to try to win this. Where do you go from here? The rotation's going to be tough for Tommy, and you're going to have 2 flyers in the air. They're going to have to scope it out. We'll see if he can win it.
On the ground prone.
DBZ طلعوا التيم الثاني. بش عليهم تيم ثالث.
Which is very similar of how we witnessed Soka playing early on, but still able to take that elimination added to the tally because they are just trying to pull away from that 4th place squad. Team Deuce, Amir, and Soka not able to catch a break here in map number 6, but if they go down here, it will open the door for teams to pass them.
The opportunity for TBE to make it to 2nd place completely depends on Hisoka and Mayapo staying alive in this moment. Going down with 0 eliminations is so uncharacteristic of Hisoka. I can't even believe that it could happen. We'll see. Shifty playing maybe playing with his food a little bit. I think they knocked Bino and then let himself revive and then killed him outright. Wanted to make sure they weren't going to get picked off by a 3rd party. We take a look at our zone here. Of course, everybody's moved outside of the majority of the hydroelectric, creeping down towards caves. Tiff, we might be seeing another water zone.
You would love that, wouldn't you, Coach? You would love a water zone. You're so devious, but regardless, it doesn't matter at this point with Biffle still able to extend that lead that they're maintaining. And honestly, with the zone just south of hydroelectric, they've got a position where they're able to gatekeep yet again. Maintaining this pace that no one can manifest. Even Soka running the gauntlet of potentially not able to even hold on to 2nd place.
Off-screen TBE is in a bit of trouble, but they've taken down Finesse, and a couple teams at the top fighting each other, and the gulag is closed. Tiff, we are officially nearing the end of the last map. Tommy and Almond hunting down Empathy.
Here we go.
Almond on 10. TBE is going huge. Doesn't matter what weapon it is.
عندي
Almond shooting bodies.
طيب الحركة دي مرة مي كويسة بس هم أخويا عادي آخر الجيم عادي. ألموند ودستروي أخويا عشان كذا قاعد يطلق على جثته وهو ميت.
On the leaderboard now, we start to parachute away. Look for the high ground as we see squad 26 in the distance. Tactical Brit was who actually was firing down with a signal 50 from above. But look at, we've got the
والله عندهم كلات أتوقع 20 كله عندهم الحين.
Could you imagine? An opportunity to do something that many people would say is impossible. I don't know if they're going to catch this squad, but this could be a window of opportunity. Sage is down, quick flare. Team Biffle knows what they're doing. All 3 alive as always.
والله مرة يعرفون ايش قاعدين يسوون ذولا
Several teams though surrounding them. A tough spot in the zone. Sure, it's central, but not ideal. A little bit of cover to work with, and somehow Team Hisoka fully stabilized all three up.
They did have the cash. They just needed a buy station or a flare to get their numbers back up. But I'm keeping my eyes on Biffle and Shifty on the right-hand side of your screen, playing just by the bridge. TBE just to the northern ahead of them in a big engagement as Tommy goes down. Tommy is fooled by 8th. Now, Noobs and Almond will have to clutch up this moment and get out of this congested
Almond
area.
صار المركز الثاني. هزوكا نزل. والله يلعبون لأن عندهم كلات واجد.
They might see themselves into the top 10, but it's going to be close. The big question in my mind is who's going to win map 6 and cement themselves in history.
أتوقع ماب 6 بيفوز فيها فريق ما قد فاز، ما أدري إذا.
Great snipes.
Signal 50, maybe that will be the greatest ever in World Series of Warzone history. Not a particular player, but a particular weapon in the hands of Shifty.
They're keeping up the pace though, Tiff. They're not relenting.
عاد الماب الأخير السولو يلو أفضل ماب لأن كلهم يلعبون ضد بعض، ذول اللعيبة كلهم يلعبون ضد بعض.
Tommy's back up, Almond's on the roof. PA liking to wreak havoc, but not necessarily. It does knock Almond on the roof. Tommy does not have a flare. 5 eliminations, typically anchoring for this squad.
If they want a chance to take down Team Hisoka, they have to stay alive. They need the 1.6 and the 1.8
They're
times
tied.
multiplier. Look at that scoreboard on the right-hand side. Team Biffle likely your winners, but second place is a complete toss-up. 2 teams at 129.4. 2 teams vying for second. Our Mexico squad is not too far behind. Sage goes big, no!
يا عمي ايش الناس هذه؟
This team is moving on all cylinders. The team at the top is going to remain there at 100.
والله صح عليهم والله انهم ياخذون الاول، والله يهنيهم.
There is a possibility as we get into that multiplier, but not
يبغون يجيبون الثاني.
But he's only on 2 eliminations with 13 squads remaining.
شوف بافل 7. لا اتوقع على واحد تومي بعدين يجي بعده بافل او ديستروي من دي بي زي لان عنده 21 كل قبل لا يطلعون.
Many of our top squads still alive. Third place walks away with $65,000, but first place is $100,000, and second at 80K. We're likely witnessing not only history, but a fight for $15,000 for second and third place. Skullface in the water with the attack. Siege goes down. EU goes
المند الثاني. سكالفيس كلهم طلعوا خلاص.
Others to creep in. Where are they? Where can they be found? Shifty still up. 7 eliminations picking up.
شفتي ذا والله العظيم حرام عليهم يحطونه في البطولة، ذا مو بصاحي ذا. يلا قبوا بعد. باقي 4 تيمات. بيفوزون ذول ماخذين هاي جراوند. بفل حتى الجيم الأخير خلاص عدموا الناس. قفل أم الطلب.
Teams fighting for the final victory. No
Team
Duo. One still in the water. Flanks fighting Sage. Sage goes down. F-Tac Siege reigns supreme when it comes to water, but we're moving back to land on the next zone. 3 teams left. Joe wipes the next one. Joe needs this to walk away with a ton of cash, but it's going to be difficult when you've got Shifty on high ground.
Yeah, but they're sitting on double-digit eliminations, vying for that 2x multiplier. Team Smixy in the distance, flanked and attract. Some have called them the golden thirds, but here they're showing why they are so prevalent. Wiping Joe.
المند الثاني اتوقع لان هذوك طلعوا قبل المند اتوقع.
A ton of cash on the line. A ton of eliminations. Shifty grabs another knock.
خلاص خذوا الجيم. هي باقي التيمين هذول وضعهم مرة تمام وبفل موجود خلاص انتهى.
With high ground positioning, but not a lot of gas mask to boot, they do make it into
باقي واحد
position
ضدهم.
to hold ultimate.
لا والله باقي اثنين. واحد يمين واحد
I
يسار.
just want to see him style on him. I know one's got the signal 50, but Shifty is down. Biffle, last standing here, keeping an eye out on flanked, not able to necessarily spot them, but as that circle starts to shift, Shifty back up on his feet. Biffle still the south side, and there he goes, the push on to flanked. Smixy.
يا لطيف والله لعيبة والله يلعبون. هذا بافل، شوفوا ذا ابو شعر. تدرون ان بافل جاي يلعب ما يتكلم كثير، يعني اغلب الجيمات ترى ذي ساكت ما يتكلم كثير زيهم. والله يستاهلون، بطولة مرة حلوة. هذا بافل هذا، شوفوا.
This was unbelievable. An absolute domination from Team Biffle. There were so many people that watched them in the World Series. Stage 1, Stage 2, and they said they couldn't do it. They didn't have the Kim. They were all slayers. No one was willing to do the dirty work. Shifty has had this mark on his name, a chip on his shoulder, and he has proved it on land that he can do it here, he can do it anywhere. Team Biffle are your champions.
والله ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. والله يلعبون. بس ترى الناس تلعب مع بعض فترة طويلة.
You hear the crowd. They've been cheering on our EU all day, but they can see and recognize domination.
والله أفضل بطولة مرت على كول اوف ديوتي الصراحة. وارزون طبعا مو ملتي بلاير، لا نظامها غير وجوها حرق وتعريق من الآخر. إلى هنا يا حبايب قلبي وصلنا لنهاية الفيديو. شكرا لكم، شكرا لمتابعتكم الفيديو. لا تنسونا من دعمكم باشتراك في القناة وتفعيل الجرس وأعطونا لايك. الماب الأخيرة راح تكون ماب أسطورية من أفضل المابات، لأن كل الناس المحترفين هذول بيلعبون ضد بعض، فبيكون ماب أسطورية إن شاء الله. بنزلها في نفس اليوم اللي بنزل فيه المقطع هذا. نشوفكم إن شاء الله في الفيديو الجديد، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.